Hey everyone, and welcome back to Wired-Tec. It's great to have you here for part 2. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Alright, so in part 1, we learned that NVIDIA released this super powerful model, Nemotron 3 Nano, for free. We stopped on one really big question.
How on earth can a model this powerful also be so incredibly fast? The answer, it turns out, isn't just one single trick. It's actually a super smart combination of a few clever ideas all working together inside the model's brain, or what we call its architecture.
So, let's get into the secret sauce. The official name is, well, it's a bit of a mouthful. Hybrid Mamba Transformer Mixture of Experts. I know, it sounds super complicated, right? But trust me, once we break it down, the idea behind it is actually pretty simple to grasp. Let's tackle those first two parts, Mamba and Transformer.
Okay, let's think of it this way. A transformer is like a very, very diligent student. When you give it a book, it reads every single word, analyzes every sentence. This makes it amazing for things that need precision, like logic or math problems. But as you can imagine, it's also kind of slow. Now, Mamba, on the other hand, that's your speed reader. It just flies through the text, instantly getting the main ideas and the overall context of a really long document. It's incredibly fast and efficient, but it might skim over some of the tiny details.
So, what was NVIDIA's brilliant move? They just combined them. They built a hybrid engine. It uses the super accurate transformer student when it needs to do some heavy thinking, and then it switches to the lightning-fast Mamba speed reader to understand long documents or conversations. So you get the accuracy exactly where you need it, and you get the speed where it really matters. It's really the best of both worlds.
But that hybrid brain, that's only half the story. The real secret that makes this model nano, small and efficient enough to run on your desk, is that last part of the name, mixture of experts. This is where the design gets seriously clever.
First, let's just look at the model's total brain power. Nemotron 3 Nano has 31.6 billion parameters. Now, you can think of parameters as just individual brain cells in the AI. And 31.6 billion, that is a massive number, right up there with some of the biggest models in the world today.
But here's the magic trick. For any single thing you ask it to do, like summarizing an article, it only uses about 3.6 billion of those parameters. The other 28 billion brain cells just stay resting. They don't use any power. And this is the whole idea behind a mixture of experts.
So, an MOE, or mixture of experts, is basically an architecture that's smart enough not to use its entire brain for every single little thought. Instead, it has something like a traffic controller or a router that looks at the job you give it and intelligently picks only the small, specialized group of experts or brain cells that are perfect for that task.
Let's use an analogy to make this super clear. Imagine you're in a giant kitchen with 31 different expert chefs. You've got a pasta master, a sushi guru, a dessert genius, you name it. A customer comes in and orders chicken rice. Now, do you need all 31 chefs to drop what they're doing and start cooking? Of course not. That would be chaos. You only need the few chefs who are experts at making chicken rice. The others can just chill out. That is exactly how MOE works. It saves a ridiculous amount of energy and time by only waking up the specialists it needs for the job.
Okay, so we've got this super efficient hybrid brain. It's fast, it's smart, it's efficient. But so what? What does that actually mean for us, the people using it? Well, this clever design unlocks some capabilities that are, frankly, mind-blowing.
First up, let's talk about the context window. Think of this as the AI's short-term memory. Nemotron 3 has a 1 million token context window. A token is basically a small piece of a word, so a million of them represents a gigantic amount of information it can hold in its memory all at once. To put that number into perspective, that's like reading and remembering the entire contents of a 3,000-page book at the same time. It can analyze a massive document or a super long conversation and not forget what was said way back at the beginning. This is where that Mamba speed reader and the efficient MOE design really pay off. And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important payoff. Because this model is so incredibly efficient, it doesn't need a giant power-guzzling server farm and some data center to run. All of this amazing AI power can run locally, right on a high-end desktop computer with an NVIDIA RTX graphics card. This makes AI cheaper, more private, and way more accessible for developers and businesses everywhere. It's a real game changer.
So there you have it. We now know how the engine works. It's got a hybrid design for speed and smarts and a clever mixture of expert system to be super efficient. But the big question remains, does all this cool tech actually save a real business real money? In our final part, we're going to dive into the dollars and cents and take a look at what the future holds for this whole new kind of AI. You won't want to miss it.